Hey, okay, so we're going to take just a couple of minutes to look at a good email versus kind of a email that needs improvements. So when you're taking online courses, or even when you're taking courses face to face, you'll send a lot of emails and receive a lot of emails from your faculty member. This is the main form of communication, especially in the online environment. And it's important that when you email, you're as clear and as detailed as you can be. This saves you a lot of time. If you just send an email saying, I need help, your faculty member or instructor is going to have to send an email going back, what do you need help on? And then there's that back and forth on email that just eats up a lot of your time in the course, especially in this course that's only 8 weeks long. So let's talk about ways to make your emails a little bit better. And I'm going to also include some links to other resources that can help you to improve your emails. And remember, this is so important, and it's not just for this course, it's for every course that you'll take here at SPC or at any other college you attend. And it also will help you out in the professional world as well. So let's take a look at this example. I won't call it bad, but an example that needs improvement. So the subject line of this email is help. It doesn't really tell a lot about what the email is going to be about, and that's a problem. You want your subject line to be very, very specific. What do you need help on? What is your specific question? Is this an emergency or is this something that can wait? The more detail you can provide in your subject line, the faster response you're going to get. Okay? And then the body of the email. Now, in online writing, anytime you write in all caps, and a lot of times you don't intend this, especially if you're sending an email from your phone, but any writing in all caps is considered shouting. It would be like if you walked up to your faculty member or a fellow student in your class and you just started yelling at them. And generally, that's not acceptable in society. So you don't want to do that online either. And even if it's unintentional, just keep in mind that if you do write in all caps, that is considered yelling, and you probably won't get the kind of response from the person that you're talking to that you want. So keep that in mind. Do not write in all caps. Also, this email is not very clear. I don't know, first, what number am I calling back? When are you available? Um, what's unfair? What exactly you're calling me, you want me to call you about? I don't know any of those, so I'm going to have to email you back, ask for your number, ask for a good time to call. And in the case of where you need an answer quickly, that's going to eat up more time, so that's not very helpful to you. Okay, so this is not an example of an email that needs a lot of work. Also, while we're on the subject, don't use texting language in your emails. Texting language is fine, BRB and LOL. That's great if you are, texting your friend or your parent or your significant other. That's wonderful to use because it does convey a lot of emotions, but it's not correct if you're writing a professional email, especially if you're asking for help. You want to be as clear as you can, and not every acronym and not every text message language is understood by every person you're going to communicate with. So just be very careful not to write anything that basically you wouldn't write in a research paper. Don't put it in an email either. Okay, good rule of practice. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. Now let's look at a good email. So let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it here. Okay. Okay, so here's a much better email. Now, not every email needs to be like this, and it'll depend on what you're writing your email about. So we're going to look. The subject line of this email is very clear. If I were to receive this as the instructor, I would know, okay, they have a question on quiz 1, question 3. So before I contact you, I'm going to go look that information up and have a proper answer for you and try to cut back on some of that back and forth emailing that you've probably done quite a bit. Okay, you open with a nice welcome. You can say hello. I know a lot of times students are worried, what do I call my professor? What do I call my instructor? Do I call them Miss, Mr.? Do I call them professor? Do I call them adjunct? What do I call them that's not going to cause problems? And the best rule of thumb, if you're not sure, is to say professor and last name, or good afternoon, good morning, hello, maybe a generic opening. You don't have to call them by their name, and definitely do not call them by their first name unless they've given you permission. and try to avoid, in the case I've had experiences in the past where my name has been shortened. Um, don't shorten a name or use a nickname unless your instructor has explicitly told you that's okay. Okay, and same if you're communicating with a fellow student. You know, a lot of students, if their name is Andrew, maybe they don't want to be called Andy. Keep that in mind when you're communicating. Okay. Now in the body, it's telling me exactly what the issue is and why it's an issue. And again, I can go in as the instructor and look this up. I can do that before I respond to the student so that when I'm responding, I'm giving them back all the information they need. At the end, you're just going to close out, thank you for your time, or thanks, or just some kind of closing to make sure that they know it's the end of the email. And then provide your name, and if it's always really helpful to also provide the course you're in and your section number if you can. Providing that information really helps, especially if you're answering a lot of emails throughout the day, because I know which course you're in real quick. I don't have to go look up that information. And again, you'll receive a response faster. Okay? So those are just some quick tips on how to format your email. Again, I'm going to include some other resources as well. Take a look at those, and if you have any questions, just remember, always email me. Thank you.